For a while now, back in December, so last year, back when Rise of Skywalker was coming out, I reviewed all the Star Wars movies, and I wasn't very happy with those reviews. I was when they came out, but honestly, now in retrospect, I am planning to review all of them one day. I don't know when this is. I haven't decided yet, but one of the worst reviews I think I ever made that I really hate. It's my review of Mandalorian Season 1. I barely touched on what made this a good show. And so we're going to talk about it. And we're going to review it, re-review it, and my thoughts on it before Mandalorian Season 2 comes out. And then probably go back and review every single episode of the first season of The Mandalorian. Because I will have individual episode reviews for every season that drops on Disney+. So, kind of have to do that. So, let's talk about The Mandalorian. When I first heard about The Mandalorian, I didn't know anything about it. It was kind of one of those cool Star Wars things that was just like, hey, I wasn't even planning to get Disney Plus, and then my dad just kind of goes, yeah, we got Disney Plus. And I wanted to watch The Mandalorian, I really did. But I didn't get to. And then and a day after Disney Plus came out, he says, yeah, I have it. Go watch it. So I popped on my phone because I couldn't wait to sit at home and watch it because it was something new Star Wars. And if you are like me, Star Wars is the best. I love Star Wars. So I sat down, I watched it, and I really liked it. This show is created by Jon Favreau. Now, if you don't know Jon Favreau, he directed the abomination of films that should never exist, the Lion King remake. He also directed the Jungle Book remake, the only good remake of Disney films, or a Disney animated film. He directed Iron Man, Chef. Chef's probably his best movie. But yeah, he's directed a lot of good stuff. Now, what's great about this show is the performances here are really good. Pedro Pascal is great. He does a great voice for the character. All the casting here is really good. The only episode that had terrible performances was episode 5. Now that's because Dave Filoni is involved in the show. He is not a bad creator or anything like that. He created Rebels and Clone Wars, but he's never directed anything in live action format. He's directed episodes of the Clone Wars and Rebels and things like that. But he's never directed a live action anything. So that was his first time doing that. And it's cool to see him actually be able to do that, but he did not do the best job, and it's understandable. Sometimes it's hard when it's your first time. That's the worst episode of the season. I think besides that episode, and maybe episode 6. I really hate episode 6, the prison break episode. I think that episode is just really, really, really boring. I don't find it interesting. And I don't know if those characters are going to come back in season 2, so I don't know, but I didn't care for it. I didn't care for those characters. I didn't feel like they were interesting. And I can't remember exactly, but I think the majority of them died in that episode. I guess spoilers, but crap, I spoiled it. And I didn't put a spoiler warning. I'll put it in the title. But yeah, I liked this show a lot. Not just because of cute baby Yoda, but also just because it's something different Star Wars. With the sequel trilogy, everyone complained Force Awakens was too similar to the original trilogy, and then Last Jedi was too different. This is the perfect balance. We could have gotten something cool out of Star Wars that wasn't just rehash. That's all the sequel trilogy was. It was rehash of the original movies. Cool. Well, those stories were complete. In fact, when I watched Return of the Jedi, I always tell this story. When I was a kid, I watched Return of the Jedi. And I watched them all in order, all the Star Wars movies. Phantom Menace was my favorite. I know. And I watched Return of the Jedi, and I saw the ending there. And of course, this was the edit where Anakin shows up as Force Ghost. Because George I need my original theatrical cuts of the original trilogy. I don't need your crappy special editions. Please, please, I'm still begging. But it was great because I was watching it, and I watched the ending and I was like, that's it. They're never going to make a Star Wars movie ever again. And then when Disney bought the rights, I was like, dang it, they're going to ruin it. They're going to run it in the ground. And guess what? They did. They totally did. Now they've given us good stuff too. Rebels, this show. And they're going to give us more good stuff. So I'm not mad about it the way I was. I think it's just kind of sad that they've kind of killed the theatrical market for films because they've been so ridiculous about it. But this is a great show. It has great direction. A majority of the episodes, because Taika Waititi, a director of Jojo Rabbit, which is, I think I have it here. Yeah, I have it right here. Great movie. Highly recommend this movie. Super funny movie. Also very sad movie. It's a great movie, and he directed an episode. Very funny guy. He voiced IG-11. I think he voiced the 2 stormtroopers in the last episode of The Mandolireian, which is the episode he directed of season 1. And it was great. The direction here is great because, when you're dealing with characters and helmets, you have to know how to direct them because you're not seeing their face and their reaction to things. So it's read through the direction of the helmet. You turn your head at this moment to make this gesture, or you turn your head like this, or different stuff. And it all creates this excellent performance without the actor having to do much, but just listen to the direction. And it's fantastic. The effects here are fantastic too, because they gave this show a movie-sized budget. But also what's cool about it is it also used this amazing technology that was invented for this show, where they didn't have to go out to the desert like they did with Force Awakens or any of these movies and film it. They recorded it in a Hollywood studio, but basically it's called a soundstage, or not a soundstage. I'm forgetting what it's called, but where they project the area of everything around them, the actors, and they can just and it looks so real that a lot of the actors. There's actually making a documentary where they talk about this, that they believed it was real for a while, and they had a hard time telling the difference of where it stops and where it ends. But it's fantastic technology, and I think it's great because it might be easier to give shows movie-sized budgets because, one things people tell me now they prefer TV shows. Cool. I don't prefer TV shows because effects-wise, story-wise, and also, you think about, The Flash. For one big special effects shot, it's the budget for a whole season. So that means that whole season has to not have effects, has to push story points back that require effects, and make the season dumber because they couldn't afford to make good effects. And it's really bad, but streaming has made it easier for companies to go, yes, let's give these things movie-sized budgets because they need movie-sized budgets. I don't want to look at bad effects because bad effects, I'm not going to give it a pass because it's a TV show. If it's distracting in a movie, it's still distracting in a TV show. And I know some people aren't distracted by bad effects, but it's if they're bad, they're bad. It's distracting for me. I can never get over it. But that's a horrible effect with certain shows like that. And so yeah, I can't prefer that. I also love the score. The score is here so good. It's a different type of Star Wars score. It's not the typical John Williams stuff, which I don't think we've had a score this good since Solo. I think Solo actually had a great score, which it's great in this show. That's fantastic. I also think that my issues with this season go down to the episodic storytelling. Episode 6 didn't need to be in this season. Maybe it will be a huge plot point in season 2, but it didn't feel like it needed to be in the season. Episode 5 didn't feel like it needed to be in the season. cool. They were kind of connected. They drop hints to what's gonna happen in the final episodes. But like, you know, when I'm waiting each week for an episode and waiting half a year for like a season 2, kind of wasting my time giving me episodes that feel pointless and feel worthless isn't what I want. And that's my issue with that. But for the most part, the show is fantastic. The direction here, the effects, the storytelling, a lot of the writing here. I love a lot of the wordless storytelling. There are certain episodes where there's so little dialogue that I almost feel like I could just turn off the entire episode, or not the episode, but like the sound on an episode, and just watch it and still know everything that was going to happen because it's so well done, wordless storytelling. It's fantastic. The direction here is great, and I'm so excited for season 2. Some of those rumors. It's literally 3 days away at the time of recording this, so